Good morning, everyone. Our group will present to you our assigned topic, Delayed Chromosomal Inheritance. The presenters of this topic are yours truly, NT7 Coraler and Balbutin. Before we will discuss our topic, I will give brief background on the important theory and ideas on inheritance. First, the chromosomal theory of inheritance. Chromosomal theory of inheritance, which states that chromosomes carry the unit of heredity, or genes, are credited to Walter Sutton and Theodore Boveri. The theory observed that during meiosis, homologous chromosomes pairs migrate as discrete structures that are independent of other chromosomes pairs. The sorting of chromosomes from each homologous pairs into pregametes appears to be random. Each parent synthesizes gametes that contain only half of their chromosomal complements. Even though male and female's gametes, sperm and egg, differ in size and morphology, they have the same number of chromosomes, suggesting equal genetics contributions from each parent. The gametic chromosomes combine during fertilization to produce offspring with the same chromosomes numbers as their parents. The next vital idea on inheritance is the cytoplasmic inheritance. This was discovered by Karl Correns, who was a German botanist and geneticist, who is the notable primarily for his independent discovery of the principles of heredity. Cytoplasmic inheritance is the inheritance of characters controlled by genes present in the cell's cytoplasm rather than by genes on the chromosomes in the cell nucleus. Gene is the chromosomes have undoubtedly been proved to be responsible for the transmission of the various hereditary characters, which in turns are located in the nucleus. But in recent years, there have been found some evidences which suggest that inheritance of characters occurs by some self-perpetuating or replicating bodies like plastids and mitochondria, which possess their own equipments for synthesizing for DNA and proteins present in the cytoplasm and not in the chromosomes present in the nucleus. The total self-reproducing hereditary materials of cytoplasm is termed as plasmon, like the genome of chromosomes, and such units of cytoplasmic hereditary materials are called cytoplasmic genes or plasma genes or plasmons. And that this particular type of mechanism in which cytoplasmic particles or inclusions take part in transmission of characters from generation to generations constitutes cytoplasmic inheritance. And that were the two main theories and ideas on inheritance. Now, our assigned topic will be discussed by my co-member, Mr. Balbutin.
Good morning once again. Now I will discuss the main topic assigned to us, delayed chromosomal inheritance. Delayed chromosomal inheritance are based on the theories and ideas from the chromosomal inheritance and cytoplasmic inheritance discussed earlier. Cases of inheritance patterns different from the chromosomal type of inheritance were reported. Some gave entirely different segregation ratios, while others observed maternal transmission patterns. This total disregards of the principles of segregation and the tendency to look like the mother are effects of two different hereditary processes, delayed chromosomal inheritance and extranuclear inheritance, in which this presentation will focus on the delayed chromosomal inheritance. Delayed chromosomal inheritance are characteristics showing delayed inheritance still conform the principles of chromosomal genetics but are sidetracked by the ties to the parent. The ties are usually between the maternal parent and the offspring. The mentioned material inheritance results from the two important features of the egg but not the sperm. The first, orientation of mitotic axis. The orientation of mitotic axis or spindle has been proposed to control cell fate choices, tissue architecture, and tissue morphogenesis. The second one is the high cytoplasmic continuity between egg and the diploid oocyte with very little or no contribution of the sperm. The accumulation of maternal gene products in the oocyte allows embryogenesis to produce quickly after fertilization. The sperm's genotype is irrelevant because the expression of the sperm's gene will occur too late. The next example of delayed chromosomal inheritance is an example of determined by the female or mother egg is described in water snail limnea by boycott diver and garstang on its coiling. The dextral or right coiling is represented by dominant capital D, while its recessive recentral or left coiling small d. Now the direction in which the developing egg coils are not determined by its own genes, but the genes of its mother. Suppose mother is left turning sinestral, designated as small d. Its egg will also be left turning coils, while father is right turning dextral capital double D. This maternal influence is probably due to the presence of some cytoplasmic bodies in the mother's egg cell. This phenomenon is called maternal determination. This is an example of inheritance caused by orientation of the mitotic axis of the mother, since the origin of dextral and sinestral coiling can be traced to the orientation of mitotic spindle and the two or more cell stage embryonic development. The color of larval skin and the eye of the fly, which are controlled by the gene capital A, where A is pigmented and the small a is not pigmented. The allele A controls the production of kynurenine, involved the pigment synthesis, while small a does not elaborate kynurenine. This offspring, small a, double, cannot elaborate kynurenine since they lack the allele A. However, they develop pigments as larvae in the skin and eyes. The pigments fades and disappears as they grow older. These results are explained by the fact that the mother includes in her eggs some of the capital A hormones elaborated in her own body. This substance present by the maternal influence enables the offspring to develop some pigment, but these individuals, being unable to elaborate continuing supply of hormone themselves, dilute and use up the supply that was transmitted by the mother, and the effect therefore is transient. And that's end of our presentation. We hope that everyone learned on the topics discussed. May God bless us all. Thank you so much.